Shabbat Shalom and welcome. I'm Rabbi Javier Carapan and I am joined by Leslie, Larry, Joel, Warren, and our technical team. A big thank you to our BOW committee for bringing us beyond our walls and to our digital docents who are managing the streaming. For those of you here in person, just a reminder, we're calling the pages, the numbers that are in the square brackets, and make sure also that you turn off all your electronic devices. As we gather on this warmish Friday evening, we welcome Shabbat together by lighting the candles at home or wherever you are. If you're able to light fire where you are safely and have candles, go ahead and light them. And on page 120, together we join in welcoming Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu להדליק נר של Shabbat.
Continue together in the middle of page 121. O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Continuing welcoming Shabbat on page 130 as we join in singing the opening lines of Psalm 95. Lechu neranena, actually, not Mizmor Shir today. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, Adonai. Naria letzur ishenu mekana fanav letoda. Naria letzur ishenu bismirot naria lo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena Adonai. Page 138, we'll join together in singing the Chadodi. We're singing stanzas 2, 4, 6, 8, and 9.
Tishtochachi.
Tishtochachi. Oh, yes, a lot of words there. Lecha dodi, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. lecha dodi, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי הנה כל המלאכה מראש נקדם נסוכה, מעשה במחשבה תחילה.
lecha dodi, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. lecha dodi, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. מקדש התנערי מעפר קומי, לבשי בגדי תפארתך עמי, על יד בן ישי בית הלחמי, קורבן נפשי גאלה לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
לא תבושי ולא תקרמי, מה תשמוחתי ומה תהמי, בך יחסו אני ימי, והנה תאירתי לך
דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. ימין ושמאל תפרוצי, ואת אדוני תעריצי, על יד בן ישי בן פרצי, ונשמחה ונגילה לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. בואי
בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה.
לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. We continue with Baruch Hu on page 146. Continue together in the middle of page 150. Everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch Ata Adonai, Ohev Amo Israel. Page 152. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, אהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך
ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בהם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Emet. We continue together with Mi Chamocha. It's on page 158. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש. זהלי אנו ואמרו, זהלי אנו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. יאי לי 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 לי, יאי לי 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 לי, יאי לי 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 לי, יאי לי 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 לי. Understanding among us, let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us, let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, Shalom. Lehamidenu, Shomreinu lechaim. Sukat shlomecha, Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkivenu, leshalom, let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
Let there be love.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace There is a song on the wind and joy in the trees. Shabbat has arrived in the world. Scattering a song in the silence of the night, and eternity honors the day. Eternity honors the day. Yai dai dai, yai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai 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 dai dai, Adonai Tzvatai Tiftach Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Adonai Tzvatai Tiftach Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, Ve'zocher Chasterot ve'imahot, U'mevii Geulah livnei bneihem, L'ma'an Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Zrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh metim atarav lehoshia, Morid hatal, Mechalchel chaim bechesed, Mechayeh metim berachamim rabim, Somech nofelim verafech cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar. Micha mocha bal gevurot, umido melach. Melech memit umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua. V'neiman atah lahachayot metim, Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hametim. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kdoshim b'chol yom yalalu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. shalom bimumah uyaseh shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru Amen.
As we gather on this Shabbat, we turn our thoughts to those in need of healing. You may have access to the Misheberach through the e-news or in the comments. For all of us here in person, have names you like to offer as I go around our sanctuary. We think of those in need of healing. We join our voices together on page 371. Source of strength to bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. As we think of all those in need of healing, we offer a special prayer for those suffering from addiction and mental health struggles. May the one who blessed our ancestors bring blessings of strength, compassion, and healing to those of us who struggle with the oppression of addiction, emotional distress, and mental suffering. Surround them with loving kindness, grace, companionship, and peace. Go from healing to our Simcha moment. If you're so moved to share special Simcha, please type it in the comments. And for those of us here in person, we have a Simcha mic. If anybody has a Simcha to share, you can stand on the X and share a Simcha with us. And remind us who you are.
Did I wait for Carol?
No, Carol, I don't know.
My name's Ron, and this is a special day for me and my son Brandon, who was born on Friday, May the 13th. And it was the greatest day in our lives, and I was so proud when he learned and understood that it's not a bad day at all, it's a great day.
Oh, happy birthday, Brandon. He may watch it later, so I just want to make sure.
All right, I'm Amy
You
Rosenfeld.
have to stand on the X, please, so we can hear you.
I'm Amy Rosenfeld, and on May 2nd, my husband over there, Les Rosenfeld, and I were married 35 years.
Oh, Mazel Tov. Anybody else? So today I chose a text that is not directly related to the Torah portion. This is a poem, meditation, prayer written over 50 years ago. And until about 2 or 3 weeks, this would have felt really dated. Like it's called A Woman's Meditation about women's rights and things like that. All right, we thought, it was all over. What are we talking about?
I wish it were dated.
And so I was reading it again. I was looking for a poem. This is from Ruth Bryn, that I've read many of her poems, and she passed away like 20 years ago. So she wrote this in the 60s. And, but I think that the fight is on again. So here's some ammunition. When men were children, they thought of God as a father. When men were slaves, they thought of God as master. When men were subjects, they thought of God as a king. But I'm a woman, not a slave, not a subject, not a child who longs for God as father or mother. I might imagine God as teacher or friend, but those images, like king, master, father, or mother, are too small for me now. God is the force of motion and light in the universe. God is the strength of life of our planet. God is the power moving us to do good. God is the source of love springing up in us. God is far beyond what we can comprehend. We now gather all our simchas and share a prayer. Divine source of blessings, we thank you for everything that enriches our lives. We turn to you now with gratitude as we share in the happiness of all those who mark their birthday, anniversary, and good news. Adonai, be with them now and always. May they be blessed with strength to overcome sickness and sorrow, and with much health and happiness now and always, as we honor each one of you for the gifts that you bring to our sacred community. We join together and offer this blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. So it's really not a secret that the book of Leviticus is a book that terrifies families who have a child whose birthday is around this time of the year, because they know what it means. It means a bar or bat mitzvah during which the child is called upon to read out loud about bodily fluids, skin boils, and animal sacrifices. Someone once put it, this is the yak book in the Torah. In addition, the book of Leviticus is really not known for its narrative episodes. And I would challenge anybody to name the only 2 narratives in the entire book of Leviticus. One is a very they're both well known because there's only two to know, right? So one is the story of Nadab and Avihu, who get incinerated after doing something ritually very wrong. And the other, as it turns out, appears in this week's Torah portion, Parashat Emor. As you may already know, you've probably guessed what the other story is. It's the famous story of the blasphemer. I am sure you all know the story, but just in case, here's a summary. One guy, born from a Jewish mother and an Egyptian father, uses the name of God in vain, that is, in some kind of a curse. And so what Moses is supposed to do with him? Spoiler alert, it does not end well for the guy. But let's not jump to conclusions quite yet. And let's concentrate on the process. So in the middle of the story, the Torah goes into the story. We're talking about 10 verses. It's not even that. It's a very short little episode. But the Torah then goes into what it seems like an excursus, and we read the following. If anyone kills any human being, that person shall be put to death. The poor guy did not kill anybody. One who kills a beast shall make restitution for it, life for life. If anyone maims another person, what was done shall be done in return. Fracture for fracture, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. Ouch. I know, this is none other than the very famous lex talionis, or the law of retaliation, whereby a punishment resembles the offense committed in kind and degree. Examples of this law are really common in the ancient Near East. So the Torah is assuming that people are familiar with it, and they're just saying, remember, this is the law that says eye for eye. Okay. The issue here is not why such crude law appears in the Torah, but rather, what does it have to do with the story of the blasphemer? Does it mean that God or Moses is supposed to take the name of the blasphemer in vain? No, let's not go that's a rabbit hole we're not going to go down. All right. So Professor Shona Dolansky suggests that the real issue here is not that what Moses and the people need, some guidance as to how to treat the blasphemer. They know what to do with him. It's not good for him. But instead, the blasphemers uncertain citizenship status. That is the problem. In other words, the question for those witnessing the blasphemy is whether, I said it in passing, but he is actually a half-Israelite. Because his mother is Israelite or Jewish, and his father is Egyptian. So, is a half-Israelite subject to the same laws as the full Israelite? Is a stranger responsible for knowing and abiding by the same laws as the natives? And that had not really come up in the desert until that very day. So that's why there's a story. Since there are only two stories in the book of Leviticus, they're both kind of super important, right? Because if they stop all the laws just to give you a story, there must be something really kind of different here. So that in other Near Eastern cultures, such as Syria and the Babylonians, they had different laws for different people. Even the Hammurabi Code that has this eye for eye, it applies differently if it's a landowner that maims a slave, or if it maims another landowner, or a resident alien, or a slave. You can imagine, right? If you maim a slave and you're a landowner, there is no eye for eye there, right? It's like you have to pay the other guy, but that's about it. So the Torah is really totally different and teaches the novel idea that everyone living together in a community must abide by the same laws. Dolansky explains that this law is not here to answer how to punish the blasphemer, but as a way of teaching the people about the equal status of all those who were wandering together in the desert. She writes, quote, "And thus the talion becomes a statement about the equality of all before the law, for better or for worse, on the heels of a series of laws and regulations, some of which seem to apply to all members of the community, others to just Israelites or even just priests, because there are a lot of those laws in the book of Leviticus. The purpose of this anecdote, this little story, and the talion that follow is to work out boundaries and responsibilities of all community members," end quote. The Torah's revolutionary idea was that there should be one law for all members of the community, regardless of class distinction. I don't know about you, but these last 2 weeks have been challenging for me in the light of what the U.S. Supreme Court is poised to do by reversing almost 50 years of precedent. Are we really living in a nation where everyone is equal under the law? As I encountered this short episode in this week's parasha, the Torah all of a sudden seems revolutionary, reassuring, and relevant. If the draft stands, Roe v. Wade will be reversed, and for the first time in American history, the court will act to take away a right that a group of persons currently have. It is hard to fathom such a regressive and reactionary turn in our nation's laws. But not allowing women to make, by not allowing women to make their own health care decisions, it does seem that women will no longer be treated equally under the law. I am not a constitutional scholar, nor do I claim that we must live according to the rule of the Torah. I'm not saying we should follow the Torah in all cases. That would be a theocracy, not me. By the way, the blasphemer was stoned to death. Just like any other full Israelite would have been if he was found to have used the name of God in vain that way. So I'm really not naive either. I'm very aware that in ancient Israel, women and slaves were not always treated equally. Yet, what I rescue is that the teachings of the Torah point in the right direction and are a powerful antidote against our human tendency, and this might be a male human tendency, if that makes any sense, to favor only those who are like us. Instead, since ancient times, our tradition has challenged us to treat everyone equally because everyone was created in the divine image. Slowly but steadily, we have widened the tent of those who are in, not shrunk it. The book of Leviticus is not concerned with laws and equality for their own sake. Its focus is on creating a kingdom of priests, memlechet kohanim, and goy kadosh, and a holy nation. If our country was founded indeed on those biblical ideals and aspires to those lofty ideals in the future, then it must heed what the book of Leviticus teaches, that all people are equal under God. According to the Torah, it means that each person is equally responsible to make Kedusha, holiness, a reality. That is our goal, and we cannot achieve it if we exclude this or that group. Judaism teaches that all who live in the community are responsible for maintaining holiness. Not everyone is the same, of course, but everyone has a function, and every person has the same responsibility to make the community holy. We are all in this together. Everyone is equal before God. So let us never forget that and continue to teach it to the world. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We're just warming up here. If you are able, on page 586, we invite you to stand with us and join us in Aleinu L'Shabech.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, בגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. As we prepare for our moment of remembrance, I invite you to turn to page 595. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways that we remember. We are observing the Shloshim period for Arnold Zell Balanoff, husband of Diane Balanoff, father and father-in-law of Debbie and Jeff Chase, and Brian and Krista Balanoff, and grandfather of Oscar and Talia Chase, and Graham and Simon Balanoff. And on this Shabbat, we remember the following yortzites of members of our congregation: Alex Applebaum, Bernard Barney Barash, Janice Block, Avia Cole, Betty Deitch, Samuel Feynman, Charles Fair, Isabel Frimmerman, Alfred Gilgore, Marvin J. Goldberg, Ida Biggis Haken, Helen Hipsch, Sarah Kotlov, Marty Kramer, Selma R. Krishever, Eugene Kurish, Beverly Mann, Calman Moses, Paul Frank Pacora, Richard Pollup, Fern Reedy, Molly Rosenfeld, Mildred Roth, Harry Rubin, Ruth Sains, Esther E. Schlesinger, J. Victor Schultz, Rose Anna Shaw, Minnie Sosnov, Volko Sukair, Samuel Zeifmacher, Sally Swivelman. Zichronam Livracha, may the memories be for a blessing. Page 598, we join together as a congregation to recite Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish. Itgadal ve'itkadash shemeh rabba, be'alema divra chirute ve'amlich malchute, bechayechon uvemechon uvechayei dechol beit Israel, ba'agala uvizman kariv vimru amen. Yehei shemei rabba mevarach lelam ulelemei alemaya, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושגרתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דא אמירם בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
It's time for some announcements. I'd like to invite Aviva Simons, Director of Member Engagement.
This is Aviva's song. The announcements are coming, they won't take too long. You wanna do some Jewish, she won't steer you wrong. This is Aviva's song.
It's hard not to smile, and I can imagine it's not just me. All right, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you to Rabbi Katapan, Leslie, Warren, Larry, and Joel. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to Dave for bringing us beyond our walls like normal. We will come back together tomorrow morning. First, we have Sichat Shabbat, our Shabbat conversation at 9 a.m. That will be in person in the library and also via Zoom. So however is most comfortable for you. And then at 10:30 a.m., we will be back here in the sanctuary as Jonathan Raymond becomes a bar mitzvah. So we're very excited to celebrate with him as his congregation and with his family and friends. All are welcome to join us 10:30 a.m., and also that will be live streamed. We have many things going on this week, starting on Sunday morning with a walk in Beth Torah Park, so just behind us, and a Meshuggah Bagels taste test. So if you've ever walked into Meshuggah and you don't want to commit to a new cream cheese flavor because you just want to try it out, this is the time to do that. So it will be wonderful. Those in person are welcome to let me know during Oneg if you'd like to join us. And we're just asking $5 per household to help us cover the cost of the bagels and schmears. But it will be a great morning on a walk and then bagel taste testing. Then on Tuesday, we have song session with Leslie at 7 p.m. All are welcome. On Wednesday, we are answering the Community Blood Center's call because they are in desperate need of blood donations at the moment. So it's from 2 until 6:30, a blood drive in the Ulam. All are welcome. You're welcome to sign up online ahead of time or walk in, whatever works best for you. And every single day this week, we are counting our blessings as we count the Omer. So this is a great way to support Beth Torah while sharing all of our simchas, our joys and our loved ones with one another. And two last very quick announcements. We are getting ready to honor our 2022 graduates. So if you are related to a 2022 graduate, let Leslie know. We're collecting photos and information so that we can honor them during our service on Friday, May 27th. And speaking of Leslie, we also are preparing for Pride Shabbat, believe it or not, which is June 24th, not too far away. So if you would like to sing in the choir or play in the band, now is the time to let Leslie know. And with that, Shabbat Shalom, join us in the Ulam for some ice cream because it is so hot outside. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, and Shabbat Shalom. We conclude today on page 162 or on screen, whatever works for you, singing V'Shamber. If you're able, please stand and join us. V'Shamberu b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Take care of each other out there.